I'm sick of hearing all the time that there is no vote fraud, absolutely no vote fraud. Dan, nobody's looking for the vote fraud. Did you hear about the non-citizen Chinese student at University of Michigan who voted last week? And his vote will count because you can't get it back now. Right. You know how they caught him like they're looking for him? For some reason, he went back the next day and he asked for his ballot back. Yeah.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video. Ann Coulter and Cenk Uygur got into a heated debate here on News Nation on election day. Things are really getting crazy out there already. By the time I post this video, things have probably gotten either very good for us or very bad for us. I'm very nervous about the whole thing. I'm kind of just ready to get the results and see what's going to happen. But regardless, let's see what happens in this clip here where Ann Coulter absolutely obliterates Cenk Uygur and his ridiculous statements about elections and, you know, the 2020 election, 2016 election, all of this stuff. Ann Coulter absolutely obliterates Cenk Uygur. Let's get into this clip here.
They've already started cheating in Lancaster. They've cheated. We caught them with 2,600 votes. No, we caught them cold. 2,600 votes. Think of this. Think of this. And every vote was written by the same person. I wonder how that happened. It must be a coincidence. It must be a coincidence.
Again, not only did he not catch them, right? It was the Pennsylvania officials who came forward. And these aren't votes. These weren't ballots. These were ballot applications. And now, as they've investigated them, more than half already were determined to be valid. They're continuing to investigate them. I mean, Ann, this to me is the most dangerous stuff that Trump is saying, which is claiming that this particular election is already being stolen.
I think, yeah, I think it's stupid. It's politically stupid. It's not going to help him. I basically agree with you, but for the sake of argument, I do have one little point I'd like to make about this, and that is, okay, Trump shouldn't be saying it, but let's say somebody else is saying it. Say I'm saying it. I'm sick of hearing all the time that there is no vote fraud, absolutely no vote fraud. Dan, nobody's looking for the vote fraud. Did you hear about the non-citizen Chinese student at University of Michigan who voted last week? And his vote will count because you can't get it back now. Right. You know how they caught him like they're looking for him? For some reason, he went back the next day and he asked for his ballot back. Yeah.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
So unless you vote illegally, you're not a citizen, unless you go and ask for the so it's like asking, you know, Confederate sheriffs, are you letting black people vote? Yeah, well, we can't find any vote fraud here. Well, you're not looking. And they're not looking here. So I'm sick of hearing there's no vote fraud. There's a lot of vote fraud. Maybe Trump shouldn't be talking
well, rather
about
than me ask the question, I'll let Cenk respond. Cenk, go ahead.
Yeah, I was getting worried about all the agreement here. Thank you, Ann, for bringing up something that's wrong. Heritage Foundation, very right-wing think tank, the guys who did Project 2025, looked into voter fraud over a period of, I think, about 20 years. And they did find it. They found 0.00006% of the vote was fraudulent. So, meaning it is totally statistically insignificant. It's the kind of desperate things that losing candidates do. The only upside here, Dan, is that once I started hearing them cry about how the election was rigged, I was like, oh, I guess their internal polling shows that they're about to lose. So that's what a losing candidate does.
I completely disagree. I can see where Cenk is coming from a little bit, and I also see where Ann Coulter is coming from, where she said that it's probably not the best thing to do before the election even starts to start saying that you found voter fraud, you know, and it actually wasn't voter fraud. But I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to already start accusing them. And that sounds so bad. But worst case scenario, we deter them from trying things even more. Like worst case scenario, there was never any sort of voter fraud or no foul play or anything like that. And we just ensure that there is no voter fraud, there is no foul play, you know, by saying, guys, we're watching you, you know, don't do anything. We're watching, we're watching everywhere. And shout out to all the people out there who aren't just, you know, part of Donald Trump's team, who aren't Ann Coulter, anybody like this, but, you know, all the independent YouTubers out there, people like Steven Crowder, Charlie Kirk, these guys have invested a lot of money and a lot of time into having teams go out there to make sure that there's no voter fraud, that there is no foul play from either side. They have a lot of Republicans on their team, Democrats on their team, making sure that the election is fair. So shout out to people like that. We need people like that. And it's awesome to see, the right wing and really just the country overall outside of the woke cult come together to just make sure that the election is fair. I don't think that's too much to ask. I don't think that's too crazy. I think that's an awesome thing to see. And I think it's desperately needed. And they don't have things like that on the left. They don't have Steven Crowders. They don't have Charlie Kirks. They don't have people out there who are willing to go do things like that, invest that kind of money to not just try and get votes for their side, but just make sure the election is fair for everyone. That's awesome to see. But also agree with Ann Coulter that to think something that could sway not just the power in one country or one state, something, a decision, a vote that could sway the power of the globe. What direction the entire globe goes in, because the world goes as America goes. We saw that, right? We saw how little China and Russia tried under Trump. And then when Joe Biden gets in office, we see how they started moving. They started moving mad as soon as Trump got out of office. So this decision sways what the globe does, not just us. And I think that people wouldn't try things to sway those votes that aren't maybe completely ethical. To say that and to believe that, you're so naive. Absolutely, unbelievably naive.
And you're absolutely right. First of all, they caught it. So what kind of grand scheme is it when you catch all the people who are doing the fraud? So that doesn't make any sense at all. But it's Trump. He doesn't have to make sense. But overall, here's what you're not going to do if you think you're going to crush in this election. Complain that it's rigged.
But Ann, the idea that they aren't looking. I mean, they are absolutely looking. I mean, a lot of these states are they're very proud of the fact, you listen to the former Secretary of State of Arizona, right? He'll tell you that in 2020, he was looking for fraud. He was looking for it again and again, and he couldn't find it. So this notion that they're not looking for it, I don't know.
Well, this is done state by state, and in the state of Michigan, all you need is a utility bill to vote. And I just described a case to you that they did not catch until the guy came back and asked for his ballot back. So it's done state by state. I'm sure they're looking for it in some states, but liberals have really got to stop saying there's no evidence. There's no evidence. No one's looking for it.
Yeah, no, I got to agree.
I think there should be one day to vote, and man, there should be voter ID.
Look, but I agree with you that there should be voter ID. I agree with you that there has been voter fraud, but there's nothing to suggest it's changing any outcomes. There's nothing to suggest that it's overturning any elections. And this is why, when AP went back a year later and looked at every single one of the claims of voter fraud, every one, and they looked at what would happen, what was the prosecution, et cetera. I mean, I had the Secretary of State of Georgia on, again, a Republican, Brad Raffensperger. I said to him, look, AP says you had 64 cases, and he said, well, in the end, it was actually 25. But they all are very familiar with exactly how many. And I just think of all these things, this Liz Cheney nonsense, this nonsense about he was trying to shoot the media. These are just headlines that they'll focus on because, dictator for a day, all this nonsense that actually doesn't go to anything real. But this is real stuff.
Yeah, it's funny because the CNN exit poll just came out, and it's 5:01 Central Time right now on Election Day. The CNN exit poll just came out, and they said that the top issue that voters care about in 2024 is democracy. Are you serious? And then the Fox one comes out, and the number one issue that they're worried about is economy. And that seems a lot more likely to me, but also I'm aware that Fox News is also very partisan. So, that just seems a whole lot more likely to me. It's unbelievable that Democrats would be worried about democracy and then vote Democrat. Just based on their behavioral patterns, they are the threats to democracy. But it doesn't actually matter. Like what is real and what people actually do, what Kamala Harris, what Donald Trump, what Cenk Uygur, what Ann Coulter actually do means nothing to these people. That's what I've realized. It means absolutely nothing. All that matters is what download did they get in their NPC bot brains that they are supposed to parrot. That's it. They know, I'm supposed to say Donald Trump, convicted felon, Donald Trump, threat to democracy. And no matter what happens in real life, they're just going to continue to parrot those talking points. That's what I've realized. And it's just yet another black pill. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about Ann Coulter absolutely destroying Cenk Uygur there. But because Cenk is saying that there's, no such thing as foul play in these elections, that's just absolutely ridiculous. That it's, I don't want to go too far into it for obvious reasons. Even outside of 2016, 2020, it's ridiculous to think that there hasn't been foul play in past U.S. elections. That is just ridiculous. Let me know in the comments, though, what you guys think about this whole Ann Coulter versus Cenk Uygur situation.